Today we're looking at the top 10 people with the highest IQs. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello Aluxers, and welcome to another top 10 list. In this list, we'll be taking a look at some of the smartest individuals of our time and discussing the top 10 people with the highest IQs. The IQ test is probably the most well-known method of measuring a person's raw intelligence. As such, those with high IQ scores are generally revered as geniuses. While having a high IQ score doesn't necessarily mean someone is a genius, as you'll see from the accomplishments of the people on this list, it sure doesn't hurt. Most of the people on this list were considered child prodigies, graduating from college before most people even began high school. Most also went on to achieve great things afterwards, from physics and mathematics to arts and literature. If you're new here, welcome! Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. Well, without any further ado, here are the top 10 people with the highest IQs. Number 10. EVANGELOS KATSIOULIS. IQ score 198. We begin our list today with the 10th highest IQ score in the world, which is EVANGELOS KATSIOULIS. KATSIOULIS is native to Greece, and he currently resides and works in the town of Thessaloniki in the country. He currently holds 2 master's degrees, one each in medicine and philosophy, and 2 doctorate degrees, one each in medicine and psychopharmacology. In addition, he's been a practicing medical doctor in Greece for nearly 2 decades, specializing in a wide array of medical fields, including oncology, neurology, and psychiatry. In addition, KATSIOULIS also excels in the areas of mathematics and physics, having received awards in each of these. EVANGELOS KATSIOULIS has taken several IQ tests, confirming his IQ score of 198, which gives him the 10th highest IQ in the world. Number 9. YANO. IQ score 200. Next on our list of the highest IQ scores in the world is YANO, who follows the tale of the child prodigy. YANO's story begins at the age of 8, where he took the SAT test, a test specifically given to high school seniors before college, and scored a 1500 out of a possible 1600. After finishing his high school education the following year, he began attending classes at Loyola University in Chicago. He graduated with his bachelor's degree at the age of 12 and immediately began working on his graduate degrees. After earning a PhD in molecular genetics and cell biology, YANO next started medical school. After finishing all of this by the age of 21 and becoming a medical doctor at the University of Chicago, YANO settled into his career as a physician, where he still practices medicine. His IQ score of 200 is enough to get YANO the 9th highest IQ score in the world. Number 8. Nathan Leopold. IQ score 200. For the 8th spot on our list, we take a turn away from the success stories of gifted youngsters and look into a darker part of history with Nathan Leopold. Leopold's story begins as the previous 2 on our list, as a child prodigy with an abnormally high intelligence. After graduating with his bachelor's degree at the age of 20, his story gets a lot darker. Along with his friend Loeb, another extremely intelligent individual, they decided to showcase their intelligence by committing the perfect crime and not getting caught. They kidnapped and murdered a 14-year-old boy, eventually getting caught for their crime. For this, Leopold was sentenced to life in prison, plus 99 years after that. Despite his infamy, Leopold's IQ score of 200 puts him as the 8th highest IQ in the world. Number 7. EDITH Stern. IQ score 200. Our 7th highest IQ in the world is EDITH Stern, who is rather unique on this list. She wasn't necessarily born with abnormally high intelligence, but her father, Aaron Stern, created a specialized program for creating genius. He dubbed his program the EDITH experiment. His program worked as Stern was a childhood prodigy, becoming a professor of mathematics at Michigan State University at the age of 16. She eventually went on to become the vice president of research and development at IBM. Cases such as Edith's have been dubbed forced prodigies, and although much research surrounding these cases state that children often suffer because of them, Edith had a resoundingly successful life with no side effects of her upbringing. Her IQ score of 200 puts her as the 7th highest IQ in the world. Number 6. Kim Eung-young, IQ score 210. At number 6 on our list stands Kim Eung-young. Eung-young is a South Korean native and child prodigy. He was performing calculus by the age of 3, which in the same year he also published his first essays that became bestsellers. When he was 5 years old, he made the move to Los Angeles and began high school. He was 8 when he completed his high school education and enrolled in college to study nuclear physics. After finishing his education with a master's degree, Eung-young began a long career at NASA. Currently, he's moved back to South Korea, where he's an associate professor at Shinhan University. Kim Eung-young achieved an IQ score of 210, which is high enough to place him as number 6th on the list of the highest IQs in the world. And Alexers, if you're curious to know why some people fail, you can check out our video, The 15 Reasons Why People Fail, by clicking in the top right corner. Number 5. Christopher Hirata, IQ score 225. Coming in next on our list, with the 5th highest IQ score in the world, is Christopher Hirata. He was 13 when he made his first major accomplishment, winning first place in the International Physics Olympiad, and graduated high school only a year later. He then went on to study physics at the university level at Caltech, receiving his bachelor's in physics at the age of 18, while simultaneously working for NASA. Hirata received his PhD in astrophysics from Princeton University at the age of 22, at which point he became a professor at Caltech. Currently, Hirata is a professor at Ohio State University, where he studies many aspects of cosmology. His IQ score is 225, enough to net him the 5th highest IQ score in the world. Number 4. Terence Tao, IQ score 225. Coming in at number 4 of the highest IQ scores in the world is Terence Tao. Tao is another genius who began life as a child prodigy. At the age of 9, he began attending his first university courses. He continued his education throughout his teenage years, becoming published when he was 15 years old, and finishing his master's degree in mathematics at the age of 16. After this, he continued onwards to Princeton University, where he achieved his PhD in mathematics at the age of 21. After graduating, he became the youngest professor ever at UCLA at 24 years old. Tao has achieved many honors in mathematics since then, even having a theorem bearing his name, the Green-Tao theorem. Tao's impressive IQ score of 225 is enough to earn him the 4th highest IQ in the world. Number 3. MARILYN vs SAVANT, IQ score 228. Coming in as the 3rd highest IQ in the world is MARILYN vs SAVANT. SAVANT is a native of Missouri in the United States, and unlike a majority on this list, was not a child prodigy. She worked for her father at a general store during her early years. After a brief study in community college, she dropped out to pursue her aspirations as a writer. SAVANT found success in the 1980s when Parade began publishing the column she was famous for, Ask Marilyn. She continued this column for many years after, where she would answer readers' questions, most of which were logic or mathematics-based. In this column, she tackled many unique problems, including the Monty Hall problem and the two boys problem. With her IQ score of 228, MARILYN vs SAVANT retains the 3rd highest IQ in the world. Number 2. William SIDIS, IQ score 250. The runner-up for the highest IQ score in the world is William James SIDIS. His story is similar to that of Edith Stern, whom we discussed earlier in the list. Like Stern, SIDIS was the product of being a forced prodigy. His father, Boris SIDIS, was a resoundingly successful psychologist and essentially used his son as his own personal psychology experiment. While the ethics of this might be debatable, the results were not, as SIDIS earned his bachelor's degree at the age of 16. After this, he moved to Rice University in Texas to both begin his doctorate degree as well as begin teaching as an assistant professor. Later on, SIDIS preferred seclusion over fame and strived to maintain his independence, working mostly menial jobs throughout the rest of his life. William SIDIS's IQ score of 250 gives him the second highest IQ in the world. Number 1. AINAN CAWLEY, IQ score 263. And finally, without further ado, the person with the highest IQ score in the world is AINAN Celeste CAWLEY. CAWLEY is a child prodigy whom has set multiple world records in his young life. He began this trend when he was just 8 years old back in 2008, in which he set an age world record for reciting the number of digits in the number pi. He recounted 518 of them from memory. The next year, at 9 years old, CAWLEY showed off his genius in chemistry by passing the O level, the highest level of chemistry. This also set a record as the youngest to achieve such a feat. It was only a year after that he did the same for physics. Presently, CAWLEY has taken more to the arts than science, being one of the youngest composers and filmmakers of our time. And yes, he has set world records for those as well. AINAN CAWLEY's IQ score of 263 gives him the honor of having the highest IQ in the world. Well, Aluxers, that's a wrap for today. What did you think of this list? Were you mastering physics at the age of 8 years old, or are you just as impressed with these people as we are? Please let us know what you think in the comments below. And of course, for sticking with us until the end and being a true Aluxer, here's your bonus. Nikola Tesla had an IQ score of 200. Many of you may have noticed the lack of some specific geniuses on our list today. I'm sure many of you are wondering how they stack up compared to those on the list. Well, Nikola Tesla is one of them. Actually, he would have made the list, however the IQ test was invented after his time. He's speculated to have had an IQ of around 200, but there's no way to actually confirm this. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxer. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you want more, we handpicked these videos you might enjoy, or head over to Alux.com for the best in fine living content on the planet. Be a part of the largest community of luxury enthusiasts in the world and tell your story.